The Cold War. A time of suspicion, fear, and the ever-present threat of nuclear annihilation. It dominated global politics for decades, pitting the capitalist West against the communist East in a high-stakes game of chess. But what if, just what if, this whole conflict, this terrifying dance on the edge of a knife, was a hoax? Now, before you dismiss this as the ramblings of someone who spent a bit too long in a tinfoil hat, let's be clear, the Cold War was very real. Millions lived in its shadow, fearing nuclear war, but like any good conspiracy theory, there's a kernel of truth hidden within the outlandish claims. The Cold War was a time of intense propaganda, misinformation, and espionage. Governments on both sides played fast and loose with the truth, manipulating their citizens and the world at large. So buckle up, because we're about to dive headfirst into the murky waters of Cold War conspiracy theories. We'll separate fact from fiction, examining claims of CIA media manipulation, Russian disinformation campaigns, and the enduring legacy of KGB narratives. Hold on to your hats, folks, because things are about to get weird. Conspiracy theories, like mushrooms after a rainstorm, seem to flourish in the damp darkness of secrecy and suspicion. And the Cold War, my friends, was a veritable rainforest of paranoia. With its clandestine operations, shadowy figures, and whispers of double agents, it's no wonder that people's imaginations ran wild. One of the most enduring and unsettling conspiracy theories to emerge from this era is the claim that the Cold War itself was a carefully orchestrated charade. Proponents argue that the United States and the Soviet Union, rather than being locked in a genuine ideological struggle, were actually in cahoots, using the threat of mutually assured destruction to control their populations and justify massive military spending. Now, let's be clear. There's absolutely no credible evidence to support this claim. The Cold War was, without a doubt, a real conflict with very real consequences. However, the fact that such a theory could gain traction speaks volumes about the atmosphere of mistrust and paranoia that pervaded the era. Fueling these flames were the very real actions of both superpowers. The CIA, for example, engaged in a number of covert operations aimed at destabilizing communist governments and influencing political outcomes. Meanwhile, the KGB, the Soviet Union's intelligence agency, was busy infiltrating Western governments and spreading disinformation. These actions, shrouded in secrecy, created fertile ground for suspicion and distrust, blurring the lines between fact and fiction. Operation Mockingbird. It's a name that sends chills down the spines of conspiracy theorists everywhere. This alleged CIA program, whispered about in hushed tones, is said to have involved the agency secretly using journalists and media outlets to spread propaganda and manipulate public opinion. The theory goes that the CIA planted stories, paid off reporters, and even established their own front organizations disguised as legitimate news sources. The truth, as is often the case, is a bit more nuanced. While there's no doubt that the CIA engaged in some shady dealings with the media during the Cold War, the scope and nature of these activities are still debated today. One of the key pieces of evidence cited by proponents of Operation Mockingbird is the Church Committee report, a 1975 Senate investigation into intelligence agency abuses. The report revealed that the CIA had indeed used journalists for intelligence-gathering purposes, sometimes without their knowledge or consent. However, the report stopped short of confirming the existence of a widespread program to control the media. Despite the lack of concrete evidence, the Operation Mockingbird theory persists, fueled by the CIA's own history of secrecy and deception. The agency's involvement in coups, assassinations, and other covert operations has understandably eroded public trust, making it easier to believe the worst. The Cold War may be over, but its ghost still haunts us. One of the most chilling examples of this is the resurgence of KGB-style disinformation campaigns in the digital age. Just as the Soviet Union once used propaganda to shape global perceptions, Russia, under the leadership of former KGB agent Vladimir Putin, has employed similar tactics to sow discord, undermine democracy, and advance its own interests. One of the most striking parallels between Cold War propaganda and modern Russian disinformation is the use of active measures. a term coined by the KGB to describe a range of covert operations designed to influence foreign governments and public opinion. These measures included spreading disinformation, supporting front organizations, and even carrying out sabotage and assassinations. Today, Russia employs a sophisticated digital playbook to achieve similar ends. Through state-sponsored media outlets like RT and Sputnik, Russia pumps out a steady stream of propaganda, often disguised as legitimate news, aimed at discrediting the West, promoting pro-Russian narratives, and exploiting existing social and political divisions. Social media has become a particularly potent weapon in Russia's disinformation arsenal. Through armies of bots and trolls, Russia amplifies divisive content, spreads fake news, and manipulates online conversations to sow discord and undermine trust in democratic institutions. The echoes of Cold War propaganda are undeniable. Just as the KGB once sought to undermine the West from within, Russia today uses digital tools to manipulate public opinion, exacerbate existing divisions, and sow chaos. As we transition from the paranoia of the Cold War era to contemporary concerns, it's crucial to understand how the echoes of the past still resonate today. The fear and suspicion that once defined international relations have evolved, but they haven't disappeared. In today's world, the importance of critical thinking cannot be overstated. With a constant influx of information, discerning fact from fiction is more challenging yet more essential than ever. We must equip ourselves with the tools to analyze and question the narratives presented to us. The Cold War has left an enduring legacy marked by both real conflicts and manufactured fears. Understanding this legacy helps us navigate current geopolitical landscapes. The lessons from this period remind us to remain vigilant, but also to recognize when fear is being used as a tool for manipulation.